Hello, this is Barnaby Edwards calling from the planet Skaro. I am a Dalek operator in Doctor Who, and I am coming to you on Mark Who 42.
Mark Who 42 would like to welcome one of our sponsors, Highlander Novelties Comics and Games. They are run by my good friends Christian and Wendy Gillespie. Christian, they are good people, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I was just about to say, I was like, I don't run that store. Or
Not
the other
you,
Christian.
The other Christian. Highlander Novelties is a one-stop shop for pop and geek culture items.
Yes.
They specialize in the unique and throwback characters from the past and present. They've got comic books. They've got decals for your car. They've got signs. They make them themselves. You should visit them at 364 Story Road in Ocoee, Florida. That's like right outside Orlando, isn't it, Christian?
A bit northwest outside of Orlando. Yeah, we were very excited to be part of the grand opening that they had out there, and are even more excited that they've joined the family of sponsors here at Mark Who 42. You can check them out on their Facebook site. Again, as Mark mentioned, they are in Ocoee, Florida, located at 364 Story Road. Check out their Facebook site for their business hours. Check out for also any specials going on. I believe on their site they're having a special on October the 28th for Halloween.
Yes,
Comic
they're
Fest?
having the Halloween Comic Fest 2017 and costume contest on the 28th. Just look up Highlander Novelties in the search bar and you'll find them. And please don't forget to tell them Mark Who 42 sent you. Welcome to Mark Who 42, Doctor Who on Krypton Radio. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me today is
Zion Quiros.
Hey Zion, how's it going?
Everything's good under the sun so far.
Yeah, you haven't been on in a couple of weeks. Have you been watching any Doctor Who lately?
Yes, I actually have, and I've actually came across this conundrum as far as I've been concerned. Dalek in Series 1
Yeah.
takes place in 2012, but the invasion of the Daleks and the Cybermen happened in 2006.
Right.
And I'm wondering why Van Stan doesn't recognize the Daleks if they already invaded the Earth 6 years prior to that.
Well, you have to go back to the classic series on that one, and that would be during the Sylvester era when he asked Ace, do you remember the Zygon Gambit? Earthlings have this strange power to forget the obvious and to forget the most important things. So, as I've said very often, the humans on Earth in the universe of Doctor Who are dumb as dirt. I'm just saying. And if you want to go with the new series, Big Bang 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only other explanation. You know, we could talk about all these dumb putting heads on Earth for all the time, but you know what? I think we're going to go to Mark Who 42 News with Mark and Zion. Well, okay, Zion. We're put in the hot seat for the news, and you know what? I don't think there's been much news this week on Doctor Who, has there? Have you heard anything?
No, there hasn't been much pertaining to what's new, except for someone that's rumored to become a companion.
Well, yeah, this is actually not a really new news story because, you know, it's been out there for a while, but we haven't talked about it. So I thought that during our news we could talk about the rumored new companion. It's somebody that has the British in an uproar for a few reasons, but his name is Bradley Walsh. Now, Bradley, you may remember if you watched Law & Order UK with Prima Aggerman and Peter Davison, he played D.I. Ronnie Brooks, and I thought he was a good actor. I mean, I've liked him in that show. Have you gotten a chance to see Law & Order UK?
I am not a fan of Law & Order, surprisingly enough.
Well, the UK version was pretty cool. Chris Chibnall, the new showrunner, wrote for it, or rather adapted American episodes for it. But it was pretty good, and Ronnie Brooks played the older cop, and really I don't watch Law & Order either, so I don't know who was the star of Law & Order when it started. That doesn't matter. But the reason it's in an uproar is because he is currently
a game show host.
Yeah, The Chase. I've seen The Chase, and yeah, it's a waste of his talent, but, he's got talent. He was on Coronation Street, which Americans can find on Hulu now. But Coronation Street, he played Danny Baldwin for 3 years. And he's been in the Doctor Who universe before. He's been in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Okay, but I can somewhat understand where they're coming from. Because, let's say that Doctor Who was an American show.
Right.
And let's say that they brought Alex Trebek as the companion. I'm pretty sure we have the same reaction to how they are.
Right.
So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I personally can't say much about them.
But
so
Alex Trebek is solely a game show host. Bradley has done other stuff. I mean, he's done very good work in the field of acting. And I bet you didn't know this. Bradley Walsh was a former professional footballer.
Oh, really?
He was. So he's an athlete. The reason the rumor came out, you have a female doctor. You possibly need someone kind of like when they had Harry Sullivan, Ian Marter, come on with the fourth doctor because they thought they were going to hire an older actor to play the doctor, and they needed someone to be the He-Man, kind of like Ian and Stephen in the William Hartnell era.
Right.
And so because Jodie Whittaker is female, the rumor is, they need someone to do action scenes. That would be Bradley.
Right.
Now, I don't think that you need to have a male to be the action star of the show because I think Jodie Whittaker can do it herself. You don't really need that. But,
of course.
And that's why Harry Sullivan, though he was a great character, didn't work in the field, and they got him off in a season because, Tom Baker could do it himself. I think Jodie could do it herself, but they want to keep a male-female dynamic on the TARDIS, and Bradley could work. Now, this is a rumor, folks. Bradley Walsh is not the new companion. We don't know when they're going to announce that. It could be as early as this week because I read online that there is an announcement coming about something. So that could be the announcement. So this whole thing that we've just discussed with you could be moot. But how old is Bradley? Well, see, now that's another story. Bradley must be at least in his upper 40s, maybe early 50s. So as a action star, he doesn't fit that really much either.
Yeah. Okay, so I just found out, and he's apparently 57. So
he's 57. Okay, so he's 57.
So does that make him on screen the oldest companion if he was to become the companion?
Well, if you go to Big Finish, no.
Yeah, of course. On TV-wise.
On TV-wise, yes. That would be the oldest companion that we've had on the show. Older than the Doctor was when he first started, William Hartnell and Peter Capaldi.
And both of them were 54, if I'm not wrong.
They were 55, I think 54, 55 when they got the part. So Bradley would be older. So, I take this as a rumor. I don't take this as gospel. But I thought we should mention it.
Quick thing about how they might end up writing him if he actually is a companion is that I'm gonna pick off what you said about her, about Jodie Whittaker being able to do all the heavy lifting herself.
Right.
If you remember in Tomb of the Cybermen, that Toberman was pretty much just a heavy lifter and whatnot. He had no words, just pretty much open doors, whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering that since, of course, it's a female role and whatnot, will they end up taking some of those elements of just him being more of the workhorse. And
well, yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, he'd be the action go-to-it guy, and I don't like that idea. I totally see in that respect why people would be upset that they don't want him to be a companion. But to me, he's a good actor. I think he'd be good in the role. But again, a disclaimer, not officially or even mentioned by the BBC as new companion.
Not at all.
Not at all. And the only reason I bring this up is because, guys, we have no news for you today. No news. No big stories hit in the last week.
And this segment of Mark Who 42 has been brought to you by Cosplay Convention Center. You can see more information about them at markwho42.net. The great thing about this is they are a database for cosplayers, for practically anybody who works in the convention limelight. If you're looking for us, they have a database that not only narrows down where we're going to be, but if you're looking, let's say, for Doctor Who conventions in your area, Doctor Who conventions in general, or other genres, you can go to their site and you can go into the database, narrow down your search to locations that are close by to you. It's a wonderful database tool to use if you need information about your favorite genre, your favorite podcast, where they're going to appear, all of that. Check it out for yourself. Go down to markwho42.net and click on the icon for Cosplay Convention Center. You'll be glad you did. Tell them markwho42.net sent you.
But, guys, we have a great show for you today because this show, we are going to interview an author who is putting out a new book for charity. It's for Children in Need, which helps children in the UK and also around the world. And the book is called Professor Howe and the Toothless Tribe. And it's a parody of Doctor Who. And he's also written for the Doctor Who songbook, the Limerick book that just came out. But this book is for pre-sale right now. You can get it. It'll be coming out soon. His name is Christopher Samuel Stone, and we will have him on the show right after this.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Mark Who 42 after this.
Jamie Engel is our newest member of the Mark Who 42 sponsored family. Jamie Engel is an award-winning author of science fiction and horror novels and stories. The Toilet Papers, a book that she wrote, is a collection of short stories ranging from 50 words to more than 5,000 to match your bathroom needs. But here are some other facts that you may not know about her. She cosplays Marty McFly Jr., Wonder Woman, Garth from Wayne's World, and Trinity from The Matrix. She speaks to kids about bullying and to authors about writing and marketing their books. She once owned a body shop, managed a hip-hop band, and danced at the Aloha Bowl halftime show. Wow, that's really cool. But without coffee, the world would end. So definitely you should read some of Jamie Engel's work, and you can if you go to her website, therighteangle.com. THEWRITEENGLE.com. And don't forget, follow her on Instagram at therighteangle.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Briggs, the voice of many monsters on Doctor Who, and executive producer of Big Finish Productions. And I'm pleased to announce that Mark Who 42 Books have joined forces with Big Finish to bring you Big Finish Audio.
There's this fella who calls himself the Doctor, and he says he has saved me, and we are in his time machine.
You all right? I think I've broken something. What about you?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks.
I rather think I broke your fall.
Oh, sorry.
Mark Who 42 Books will now offer to bring you the best in Big Finish Audio.
But why are they here?
How do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, no need to. I'm the Doctor, and this is...
I am Leela.
By all means, please do come out to play, Doctor. I'm waiting for you.
To find where Mark Who 42 Books will be, go to markwho42.net or on their Facebook site, at MarkWho42.
What are you saying? They fizzled in somehow, like the TARDIS?
Yeah, transmat from another dimension. The TARDIS doesn't fizzle. It's more of a...
Also go to markwho42.net and download my interview with the team.
You're executive producer at Big Finish Productions.
Correct.
Correct.
Is this a quiz?
MarkWho42, taking you to the Whoniverse and beyond.
Mark Who 42 is proud to have Famous Faces and Funnies. This is a huge, mega comic book store. I mean, they just have literally tons and tons of comic books, novelties, everything. They're located off of 3020 New Haven Avenue in West Melbourne. And if you want to give them a call and just let them know Mark Who 42 sent you, it's 321-259-3575. But this thing is just a huge, I mean, you've seen comic book stores and nothing against them, but you've seen them, these tiny little shops, and they have comic books, and they have merchandise and memorabilia and such like that. This place is like the best term I can put is the Costco of comic book shops. So you go from one store, and there's another section, and it's just huge. They have Funkos. They have tons and tons and tons of stuff in there. I mean, it's hard to explain. But if you have any geekdom out there, Famous Faces and Funnies have got it covered for you, from Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, everything. And also Rick is the guy who runs it, and all the team over there, nice, friendly people. Definitely want to check out our friends at Famous Faces and Funnies in the West Melbourne area if you're out there.
Hey guys, this is Chad Rook, and you are listening to Mark Who 42.
Welcome back to Mark Who 42 here on Krypton Radio. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and we've got a very special guest, and I always say we have a special guest, but this time he really is special, and yes, I say that every time too, so don't even pay attention to that. We have with us the author, Christopher Samuel Stone, who has written a book that is being sold right now in pre-order called Professor Howe and the Toothless Tribe. Christopher, welcome to Mark Who 42.
Thank you.
So, Christopher, where did you get the idea to do this, and why did you do this, write this book?
Well, there is a terrible, terrible Doctor Who parody on the market. I won't say the name of it, but I'm sure people will know the name of the one I'm talking about. And it's just not funny. And there are so many good opportunities to make a parody book on Doctor Who funny, and I thought I'd have a go at doing it myself. So I put the word out that we were thinking of doing a series, and I've got a few other people that are also writing some for after this one. So it was a competition with me and a few other people to see who actually finished first. And we all had our own ideas, and as I was actually doing the very first story, and it was the first one finished, that's the one we've gone with.
Now, this is done in conjunction with Long Scarf Publications.
That's my little charity publication company, which has done other things.
Yeah, you have done other things that have come out within the last year. You could tell us a little about those.
Well, I've done a few more than that.
Yeah, but I've only come across a few. So
okay. We started with a book guide, which went through all the target books, which was pretty successful, and that raised almost £900 for cancer research. And I think that was in 2015. Last year, I had a book that I, just for my own pleasure, called Doctor Who and the Fescon Threat, which was a choose-your-own-adventure style book.
Yes, I saw that. I unfortunately did not pick up a copy of it. I do like choose-your-own-adventure books.
And, well, it started as a very simple idea, and it sort of got carried away, and it took me forever to finish. I mean, it kept on getting put aside because it was very complicated. Right. And it had 2001 choices by the end of it.
Wow.
And 10 different routes.
Book. Yeah, complicated choose-your-own-adventure.
Yeah. 10 different routes, one for each of the first 10 Doctors.
Oh.
So that was complicated, juggling that and making sure it all fitted. And I did that. And
I think
then,
I'm going to have to go on eBay and look for that, because
well, it might be reprinted later on in the year.
Oh, good. Good.
But that one was for Mind. And then the lovely Jenny Shirt. Do you know Jenny Shirt?
Yes, I do know Jenny Shirt. We've tried to invite her for panel shows, and she's been a little nervous about it, so she hasn't done it yet. But now that she just posted about her opportunity with recording her voice for something that I don't want to talk about because I don't know if she wants me to, but I think we're going to talk her into coming on our show in a panel. Yeah. So, yes, I do know Jenny Shirt.
Well, I'll try and talk her into coming onto the show.
Yes.
Because she's very nervous, but she's also very brilliant.
Yes, she is.
She is the funniest person, the most bubbly person in existence. And she's very enthusiastic, and she's never negative, and she's a really great person. And in passing, she mentioned about Doctor Who limericks. And I said, that would be a really good idea for a book.
Yeah.
And she said, really? She knows an awful lot of people. And we asked,
yeah, she does, doesn't she?
And we asked, and I think we had almost 100 contributors to that book, and we had over 300 limericks in that book, and that raised just over £400 for Mind. And while we were working on that, John and me were working on a songbook with lots of parody songs.
Right.
And we ended up releasing that the month after, which was the Doctor Who songbook.
Yes.
Unofficial, obviously.
Yes.
And that wasn't so successful. I think it only raised about £130, but we had a lot of fun doing it. And we recorded, with a couple of friends of mine, one of the songs, which is called Lay-Bys Are Dangerous, which goes to the tune of Hotel California.
Oh, wow, wow.
Lay-Bys Are Dangerous, can I inform you?
And, you know, I'm on, and I want to give this to everyone, I'm on Long Scarf Publications' website now, and that's longscarfpublications.strikingly.com. And it's got, under available now, the unofficial Doctor Who songbook. And I'm trying to order it, and I can't seem to click on anything.
No, you can message the Facebook page, I think. And I have still got some copies of that in hardback left.
In hardback? Okay.
Yes, not paperback.
All right, no, hardback's fine. It's a long-lasting book.
So that's that.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How did you become a Doctor Who fan?
Well, it's very interesting that I was a Doctor Who fan when I was very small, sort of 5 or 6. The first story I can vaguely remember is Terror of the Zygons. And I can remember the oil rig being destroyed. And I can remember Harry getting shot, and that's about it. Can't remember much more about that, but I could remember that from the time. But when I watched The Seeds of Doom in the Arctic, I was banned from watching it because I had nightmares. And I wasn't allowed to watch it again until probably The Power of Kroll.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe The Stones of Blood, actually. Probably The Stones of Blood.
Stones of Blood, that was...
Yeah.
So you were...
And then I was back, and I
caught
stopped
in
watching
the
it.
key to time here.
Yes.
You came in
I
at
missed
the middle.
I missed a whole season.
Yeah.
And I live on a place called Portland, which is very famous for its stone. And after I watched The Stones of Blood, I wasn't allowed to watch it again until, I think, the last episode of The Power of Kroll. And then I sort of watched it on and off for a few years, and I didn't really become a slightly bigger fan until Peter Davison. But I still wasn't a big fan, not like obsessively big. And I wasn't obsessively big until I went to university. And when we were at university, we watched the videos started to come out, and we watched some of the videos.
Right.
And then I started to get really quite obsessive.
Oh, wow.
And then I started collecting the Target books, and it all sort of descended from there. So it wasn't really a childhood thing. It was more late teens thing, rather. I just collected every Target printing and so on.
What'd you do when Doctor Who came off the air?
I started collecting everything I missed out on when I should have been collecting in my childhood. So I was doing fine. But yeah, I coped all right, yes. I enjoyed the New Adventures and the BBC Adventures. I enjoyed them. Yeah. But I read those, and I coped, and I listened to some of the old audio visuals before Big Finish, and then I started listening to Big Finish.
Right.
And so on. I was a big Finish fan until about 2006, something like that. And I just stopped because I couldn't afford it because there was so much stuff coming from
Yeah,
Big
there's a lot of stuff coming.
Couldn't afford it, so it sort of went by the by. And my obsession with books became even bigger, and so that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've liked Doctor Who for most of your life. That's cool. Well, what did you think of Capaldi? I mean, we just had our club meeting, and we saw the end of series. Well, I showed the end of series, and I saw it when it came out. But what did you think of Capaldi's performance? I like him. I've always liked him. I've been a big fan of his since he took over the role. In fact, the only people I find hard to watch are Sylvester McCoy and Christopher Eccleston. I can't find them watchable at all. Really find them difficult to watch. Well, I promise when I see Sylvester on the weekend of the 13th or the 15th of October, I won't tell him that.
I haven't told him that either.
Because I'll be interviewing him on stage at Time Lord Expo in Dayton, Ohio, and I'll make sure I do not bring this up. I will not bring this up for you.
No, that's okay.
I love Sylvester. Tom Baker was my first. That is my doctor. But
the problem Sylvester's got is a lot of his stories are not so well written, and they have a lot of padding.
Okay, I grant you the first season of Sylvester was a bit rubbish, but that's because Andrew Cartmel hadn't had a lot of input. There were stories that were written before he came on. But I do think the Ace storyline, the arc, which really brings up what today's Doctor Who is with the arcs and the family, the whole thing, I thought Sylvester's Doctor was amazing. I loved the Cartmel Master Plan.
See, that's where I have to disagree
That's
with you.
where you have to disagree? Okay.
I mean, my favourite Sylvester McCoy story is Delta and the Bannerman, but I'm weird, so what do I know?
Well, you know what? Okay, okay, hey, let me step back from what I just said. Delta and the Bannerman was really cool. I did like it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I love the fact that they used old comedy greats from Britain in little bit parts, and I loved the music. I love music. That's why I've just put a message through for the songbook while we've been talking. And So I did enjoy Delta and the Bannerman. I did enjoy that. It would have been quite weird had we gotten our companion for Sylvester from that story instead of Ace.
I mean, I think personally that Ray would have been a much better companion than Ace.
Sophie was my girlfriend back then, so I make you take that back. I have to take that back.
It's good that we can agree to disagree.
There we go. Agree to disagree. Trump would never be able to do that, would he?
No,
I told you I wouldn't bring that up. I told you I wouldn't bring that up, so let's take that back.
You can possibly bring that up. I don't mind at all.
Well, we might be doing that because we're going to talk a little about the actual book, Professor Howe and the Toothless Tribe. Can you tell our listeners, if they buy this, what they are looking at? What is the basic storyline without giving spoilers?
There is a Professor Howe who's stranded in London, not surprisingly. The craft is not quite like the TARDIS. In fact, quite different to the TARDIS. Professor Howe's a bit rubbish. There's a character called Alania who resembles Barbara somewhat. Oh. There's a character called Chesterfield who resembles Chesterton somewhat.
I like that. Okay.
But I will not tell you too much about the characters because there will be some jokes there which will be spoilt if I give you.
I see, using an Ian and Barbara type character and calling it the Toothless Tribe and having seen the cover that, we are kind of going into Unearthly Child. That this could be the first of a series of Professor Howe books.
Yes, this could well be a series of the Professor Howe books. The second one's already written there. That features the sixth Professor Howe.
Ooh, I wonder how the sixth Professor Howe dresses.
I wonder indeed. But I will not comment on that. He
probably wears a very smart suit and jacket, really. If you're going to parody the Sixth Doctor, what's the best way to do it? Make him wear normal clothes.
But on the current book, The Toothless Tribe, they obviously get transported to caveman times.
Right.
And amazingly, there's a caveman there called Rump, the caveman. And he
I can
promises...
see the jokes coming there.
Yes, he promises to make the tribe great again.
Okay.
And I don't want to go any further than that on that. But it's basically, yes, it degenerates into the story of Rump the caveman.
All right.
And I'm not going to tell you what happens to him.
No. I definitely want to read that.
I think you want to read that, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure I will, too. Where can people pre-order this book?
They can pre-order it at Professor Howe-the Toothless Tribe, that's all one word, .strikingly.com.
All right. And what are we talking price range here?
It's the postage, unfortunately, which is the problem. If you're a UK customer, it's £8 for the paperback and £13.50 for the hardback.
Mm-hmm. But if I'm correct, the worldwide hardback, which I did purchase, was
£20.
Which, ladies and gentlemen, in the economy that we're in, is not much more than $20 at this point. It's like $26. So it's not that bad for a hardback book from England,
Europe is £11 and £17.50.
And worldwide is £12.50 for the paperback, I think.
£12.50 for the paperback and £20 as for the hardback, yeah.
Now, is there any difference between the paperback and the hardback version besides it being paperback and hardback?
No, there's no difference at all. Okay, they're both the same, apart from a slight difference on the cover.
Okay.
Because on the cover of the paperback, it will have a number on the cover, so it will be number 1. And on the spine of the hardback, it's got the name of the number on it.
All right.
So that's the difference.
Well, I'm sure that I will be collecting these Professor Howe books. And because it's a great concept. I love funny. I love Doctor Who. So I can't wait to read it. I know actually you were in communication, I think, with Gadget, who is our writer on our website, and you had offered to let her review it.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely should do that. And we will.
Okay,
so this is a charity book. It's for children in need. Now, Children in Need is well known in England, but for our listeners outside of England, can you explain Children in Need?
Well, I'm sort of exploiting a BBC property without actually exploiting a BBC property. I thought, let's give it to a BBC charity. So I'm giving it to BBC Children in Need, which is a charity where all the money goes to help children in the UK and I think abroad, basically are in need, in poverty, kids who are carers for their parents, things like that. So it helps them, it gives them breaks, it gives them support. It's a good thing. It's very established. They have a telethon every November, just before Christmas.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta say, I do actually watch Children in Need each year. Somehow I do it from the States. I'm not really sure how I do it, but I do it somehow. I do actually watch Children in Need. I love the EastEnders musical numbers that they put together.
Yes, when they can't sing.
EastEnders being my second favorite show, which is why I didn't mind Dimensions in Time.
You mean your second favorite show isn't Only Connect?
Only Connect is in the top 5.
That's all right.
I do like Only Connect. It is a fabulous show. They would never do that show in America. It's too hard.
It is. I mean,
we get the dumb. We had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and we've had The Weakest Link, which are both British shows, and we've had American versions of them. But I think they were dumbed down for us here. I don't want to say anything about, America being dumber than Britain because, hey, Brexit. But at the same time, we have Trump. So Children in Need does help. And you say there are going to be other books that are going to come out that are not Professor Howe from other people?
There are Professor Howe from other people.
Oh, Professor Howe from other people. Okay.
Yes.
And they are coming out soon?
The second one's already written, and it's just having its last adjustment, so that should come out within the next couple of months, yes.
Okay. So I gotta get my PayPal account ready to send more money over to England.
Probably, yes.
Probably, yeah. Who's writing?
But the next one is by...
Next one?
I cannot tell you, because they promised me that they would only do it under a pseudonym, but it is a published Doctor Who author.
Okay, we're going to talk about this off camera. No, we don't have to do it. But no, I think that's great. So we have an established writer under a pseudonym.
Yes.
And if you are, now having read basically every Doctor Who book out known to man, probably from the writing style, will I figure it out?
No.
Oh, no. So he's writing against type.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
It's really funny.
Okay.
It made me laugh. And it's got some really funny sequences in it. I'm very pleased with it. It hits the nail on the head beautifully.
Great. So, what else did I want to talk about, Chris? Let's go back to the unofficial Doctor Who songbook, since the hardcover is still possibly available. I mean, it's still available. Now, it was raising money for Mind. Now, what is Mind?
It's a charity that helps people with mental illnesses. I've had a bit of issues with anxiety and depression. The one thing that gets missed out, and I think people ignore it, and it's really hard, you sort of end up fighting it, and they've done a lot of good, so I thought I would help support them.
All right. Well, that's very noble and honorable. So, Chris, I wanted to play a song that is part of the songbook. You've got one of the songs that are available. What is the name of this song?
It's Laybys Are Dangerous.
Laybys Are Dangerous, and I bet it has to do with Legopolis.
Yes.
So let's play that, and you wrote this, right?
I did, although I didn't write the tune. The tune is vaguely familiar, I think.
Here it is, folks.
Out on the A40, cool wind in my hair, driving to Heathrow Airport, Aunt Vanessa was there. Up ahead in the distance I saw a police box light. My car flat tire, had to put it right. The doctor stood in the doorway. He heard the cloister bell, measuring another police box so he could repair the tardis shell. But though events were recurring just across the way, there's a figure that was watching them. I thought I heard him say, labour's are dangerous, and I inform you. Such a lonely place, such a lonely place has a deadly face. Labour's are dangerous, I have to warn you. Any time of year, they are filled with fear. His mind's definitely twisted, he's gone completely round the bend. The master's obsessed with his toys, turning people into action men. And he laughs in the cloisters, and I can't forget. Aunt Vanessa's only 9 inches tall. My job prospects are wrecked. I searched for the captain, but I wandered alone in the gloom. While they escaped the gravity bubble by jettisoning Romana's room. And still the watcher is watching from far away. Had a meeting out on Tower Bridge just to hear him say, labour's are dangerous, and I inform you. Such a lonely place has a deadly face. Labour's are dangerous, I have to warn you. You'll be hypnotized, all cut down to size. Meanwhile in the gobblers, they were paying the price. Somebody was spreading fear and death with a fiendish device. And in the master's tardis, his plans were in reverse. He wanted to rule the planet, not destroy the universe. Last thing the doctor remembered as he was falling to the floor, he'd opened the life-giving CV and the universe a safe place once more. And it turned out the watcher was a doctor all along. And since he's regenerated, he looks like Tristan Farnon.
Hotel California, laybys are dangerous. Yeah, I can see it working.
It does. A chap called Alistair kindly did the video for us, which is actually really funny. It fits in beautifully. It's like all clips of Logopolis on it, and it's very funny.
You can definitely check that out on Chris Stone's YouTube page, which, wow, was I already subscribed to that? I think, there we go. Chris Stone. It's called Logopolis, Laybys Are Dangerous, and you can watch it on YouTube. Wow. We had some music on our show. Kind of nice. I like having music on our show. So, Chris, do you have any other projects coming up that you'd like to talk about?
Hopefully, before Christmas this year, the second volume of the Doctor Who book guide might be ready. I use the word might be ready because it's already 18 months overdue.
Oh, wow.
What happened is we've got contributions from a lot of the authors of the New Adventures, the past Doctor Adventures, the Eighth Doctor Adventures, etc., etc., etc. And they've written about between 200 and 400 words about either books they wrote or books that they've enjoyed reading. There's other people as well. It's not just famous authors, but it adds something to it. We've got some artists writing about their covers and things like that, so it's really quite interesting, and it's very different. And nothing's been done before like it.
Oh, all right. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on Mark Who 42. Folks, this is Christopher Samuel Stone, author of Professor Howe and the Toothless Tribe. Definitely don't forget to go and pre-order this book at professorhowe-thetoothlettribe.strikingly.com. And remember that Howe has an E at the end of it, right? We want to make sure they don't put Professor Howe, because then you'll get some kind of dentist thing about how to fix teeth, and you just wouldn't want that.
Yes, you probably would.
Thank you very much, Christopher.
Thanks, Mark. You're ever so kind.
And we'll definitely be glad to have you back on when the new book comes out.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure.
We'll be right back with more of Mark Who 42 after this.
This portion of Mark Who 42 has been brought to you by Harlequin Cosplay and Crafts. You can go to our site right now, markwho42.net, and click on her icon. Make sure to use promo code MarkWho42 for free shipping of any of her cosplay images and merchandise. And you will see Amelia Poole, yeah, that's her real name, Amelia Poole, who runs the site. She's going to be at the Space Coast Comic-Con and a lot more other conventions coming up on the Space Coast. She usually hangs around there at Central Florida. Gorgeous woman. Absolutely gorgeous. You got to see her Harley Quinn cosplay. You got to see her Dana from Ghostbusters. I mean, just a beautiful woman on that. And she actually does some crafts, including, I guess, what they call the Cobb hat, the Firefly hat that Jane Cobb uses. Right. She's got merchandise up there. Check it out. Tell her once you see her anywhere, Mark Who 42 sent you.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Mark Who 42 after this.
Hey, Mark, are you busy?
Well, I'm kind of doing my podcast right now, honey.
I want to show you this website. I saw these cool things at Florida SuperCon, and the website is www.drwhocrystals.com. You know my birthday's coming up.
It is. Let me type that up right now.
So do you see this? They are laser engraved crystals with pictures of the Doctor in the TARDIS. I want one for the living room. I've always wanted to have a TARDIS in the living room, but I've always been afraid that it's going to look like a,
But, these look really good. I mean, they're 100% crystal, and it looks like Peter Capaldi. And I know that at Florida SuperCon, these guys, because I did meet them, and these guys got the rights to Peter Capaldi's likeness. They've had the likeness of the first and second Doctor. They've made them. Really want one of these?
Yeah, I've heard that they work closely with the BBC to get the pictures just right, and you really have to order one. It only weighs about 3 pounds. It's a real thing of beauty, okay? It looks elegant, and you have to check it out. Their website is www.drwhocrystals.com, and they are so affordable, Mark, that I want one for my birthday. And then, in a couple of months, the holidays are coming up. Get one for me then, too.
You got it, hon.
The voice of Christian Basil, take 1.
Hi, I'm Christian Basil, and I would like to provide my voice for all your voiceover needs, such as...
Okay, like an announcer.
Like a what?
Like an announcer.
For all your voiceover needs, such as animation, radio, announcements, introductions...
Now an old man.
I can even record voicemail for all the Meshuggahs that call you.
A pirate.
Arr, and it won't cost you a lot of treasure for me services. Arr.
Creepy movie voice.
Just call 407-761-2679. 407-761-2679. Or email voiceofchristianbasil@yahoo.com. Well, how was that?
That's a wrap.
And I'd like to say right now, Mark Who 42 is proud to have 9.9 Comics as a sponsor for our show. 9.9 Comics, if you're out in Brevard County, this is one of the places to go and visit. They've just started recently, and they're located off of 1284 Sarno Road in the Melbourne area. They're starting out, but I met Matt and the team, and they are just really, really, as far as customer service is concerned, phenomenal. It's a really great store. They were telling me about a point system, Mark, and forgive me, I'm not familiar with it, but that's where the 9.9 comes from. When you go to a comic book store, some comics are just laying out there loose and for everybody to read and such like that. And every time somebody picks it up, it kind of depreciates over time. Not in this store. Every comic is protected. In fact, you can't even read the comics. They're all protected for your pleasure. So if you want to keep these comics for longevity and possibly later on try to sell them to make money off of them, they have every comic sealed up and protected. It's just phenomenal. Not only that, but one of the things I love about this comic shop is they sponsor the Candlelighters of Brevard. Now, these folks are a nonprofit organization that take care of children in the Brevard area who are suffering from cancer. So if you want more information on them, go to www.candlelightersofbrevard.org. If you want more information about the charity that they sponsor, and definitely go on their Facebook site at 9.9 Comics. Can't miss it. Matt and the team are wonderful. Go visit them out there and tell them that Mark Who 42 sent you.
Hi, this is Jason Connery, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
And we're back with more of Mark Who 42. So, yeah, remember, go and pre-order Christopher Samuel Stone's book, Dr. Howe and the Toothless Tribe. All the money goes to children in need. Okay, hey, Christian, you've just joined us. Hey, that's great. Can you tell us what's coming up in the world of Mark Who 42 appearances at Doctor Who and science fiction conventions in the near future?
Well, sir, yes, I can.
Well, before you start, Christian, let me just state that Space Coast Comic-Con, which was going to be held this weekend, has been canceled. We have word from the Space Coast Comic-Con Facebook site. In light of Hurricane Irma's projected path and Governor Rick Scott's declaration of a state of emergency for all of Florida, it is with a heavy heart that we must cancel Space Coast Comic-Con 2017. As it is near impossible to reschedule an event this big and coordinate with everyone who came together for this, we will not be rescheduling. But we are scheduled for September 7th, 8th, and 9th of 2018. If you are a vendor, you should have already received an email. If not, please email us at vendor@spacecoastcomiccon.com. If you're a ticket holder, you should also have received an email. If not, please email us at info@spacecoastcomiccon.com. Thanks so much for all the love over the last 3 years, and we will see you all in our 4th year, 2018. Now, yeah, this is sad. It's, the Spacey Awards are supposed to be given out this convention, but from what we understand, the Spacey Awards will be held sometime in the near future, so we will be getting word on that as soon as they can schedule that. But our next stop is, and Christian, here's where you can shine.
Coming up in the end of September and running into October is MegaCon Tampa Bay. They're going to be starting Friday at 4 p.m. The festivities begin. We're going to have such people as Jay and Silent Bob, Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. They're going to be there. Jason Marsters from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the legend himself, William Shatner. But more importantly, Doctor Who alumni Alex Kingston and Malcolm Merrill himself, John Barrowman. They will be there, and I'm glad he's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
But if you want to see us, we will be there. Now, the booth itself, the Mark Who 42 booth, it won't be in its full glory, but we will have some items to sell you down there for all you Tampa people out there. We will have something for you for the Mark Who 42 booth out there. Again, this takes place September 29th to October 1st at the Tampa Bay Convention Center. Get your tickets now if you want to get some good stuff over there and get to be the part of the ultimate fan experience at Tampa Bay. Then coming up is Time Lord Expo, October the 13th, 15th in Dayton, Ohio. Got a lot of guests going over there, including Sophie Aldred, Terry Malloy, Daniel Hoffman-Gill. Would he be an upcoming guest?
Oh, he could be on in 2 weeks if I'm correct.
There you go. Ian McNeice, Simon Fisher-Becker, as well as Caitlin Blackwood. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But definitely one of the doctors is going to be out there, Sylvester McCoy. If you've been keeping up with us, you heard recently that unfortunately Paul McGann had to decline. He won't be out there, but they have a new special guest. It will be Michelle Gomez.
Oh, yeah.
So she'll be out there. And just recently incorporated into the convention, Eve McIntosh, Lady Vastra herself. So we got a lot of guests out there. But definitely Mark Who 42 will be out there to handle the panels and just geek out with you.
Cool. Oh, you know what? And I should mention that on December 31st, there will be the New Year's Eve Time Lord Ball. Yes, it's hosted by Ken Spivey Band and many others. There's going to be music. There's going to be fan panels on Series 10 and the Christmas episode, probably with me on that panel. There'll be free goodies, live, like I said, live music, guest performers, and tons of fun for couples and singles alike. The New Year's Eve Timey-Wimey Time Lord Ball will be held in Tampa, Florida at the Brass Mug. Tickets are available at Eventbrite, and right now, pre-sale general admission is $20 for students and those who serve us in the military, only $18. So please go to the event, New Year's Eve Time Lord Ball 2017, and click on the Get Tickets and get them there. Or just go to the right side of our website, marku42.net, and all of these conventions you can get to from there. Well, we had a good show today.
Yeah, you guys sound like you had a fun time there.
Yeah, I think Christopher is a great guy, and I bought the book. I'm getting a copy of the book. I can't wait to read it. The review of the book, even though it hasn't come out yet, it'll be a non-spoiler review, will be on the website, marku42.net, later on this week, probably before Space Coast Comic-Con starts. So that should be fun. I just wanted to say something to our listeners. Now, over the years, we have kind of come down hard on Stephen Moffat. And I've got to tell you that, you know, when a new showrunner comes on, you start watching their stories and you reminisce and wish, you know, maybe he wasn't bad, and then you kind of, like, remember him as a good showrunner. Well, you know what? I'm going to skip waiting for Chris Chibnall and tell you a rethink. I personally have been rewatching and paying attention to the storylines from the 11th hour all the way until the final episode. And we haven't seen the Christmas episode, so we really haven't got the final episode yet. But I got to tell you, he may have put a lot of gaps that were never filled. I mean, there are a lot of potholes. But Stephen Moffat really told the story. It did flow. It does make sense. I have to say now, I don't hate him. I've changed. I've done a flip-flop. I've 180'd. I think that Stephen Moffat was a good showrunner.
His writing, for me, is an acquired taste. Like, he turned Doctor Who more into fantasy than his original sci-fi roots. And
but you know what? I like the original Star Wars. That was fantasy.
Yes, Star Wars is one of the only ones that actually works in the sci-fi image, but with fantasy innards. And I don't feel like, well, Doctor Who can do it. It's just, I don't feel Moffat is the right person to actually do it.
Okay, and Christian, do you have anything you want to say?
I think when it comes to Moffat, he had proven himself that he was a great writer. Well, I mean, he is a great writer. That's not even a question. He's written some of the best episodes that I think that are out there, and people will shout out, they'll shout out Blink and when they say their favorite episodes and such. Let's put it this way, I hold Moffat accountable as much as I did John Nathan Turner back in the 80s, where the series was getting a little bit more campy. It was getting a little bit more silly. Especially the first years of Sylvester McCoy, where it just went from here's this sci-fi drama to here's this comedy club.
Right.
The writing was just getting really, really bad. I won't say any writers' names, but it just, yeah, exactly.
Ben Aronovich, Ronald Monroe, we're not talking about you, so please come on our show.
I did say the first season of Sylvester McCoy, but I still. You got to give John Nathan Turner credit. He not only brought Doctor Who to the United States, at the very end, he was still campaigning for a show that he didn't even have to campaign for. He could just say, well, forget this.
Right.
And I remember that he did an interview for that guy in PBS a long time ago for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, Eric Leskin.
Mm-hmm. Eric Leskin, and he asked him, I think the last question was that, in the 25th anniversary leaves, what are you going to do now? And something to the fact that, well, I think Sylvester McCoy will make me stay. And he did stay for Series 26.
Right.
For the end run until Survival. I feel the same way with Moffat. And that goes for everybody who has helped reboot the show. Everybody had a love. When you got from Mark Gatiss to Russell T Davies, everybody who's practically been involved. They were the children of time, to put it in a cliche way. They were the sons and the daughters who loved Doctor Who. And when they brought it back, they wanted to make sure that we'd never suffer through the wilderness years again. They wanted to make it better and better and better. Having said that, Stephen has his flaws, and we've seen them over time. Some people, will love Doctor Who no matter what they put out there, but it's shows like us who hold the showrunner to the fire. For us who have grown up Doctor Who, and for the folks who are growing up with New Who, like Iggy and Zion, who've started in this new generation, but still have a love and passion for the old Who, we're still going to hold Chris Chibnall and every other showrunner who comes in here to the fire to make sure that follow those values, that they follow along. That's why you listen to us, because we have the experience, we have the know-how, and we want to tell you like it is. We don't bash Moffat or go into this Moffat bashing because we're trying to be mean and cruel and say, get rid of Moffat and all that. We're saying this because we have a love and a passion that the fans, I believe, endear and hold to their heart of why they love Doctor Who. And when they get to the point where it's getting off of that tangent, then we feel that we need to at least, in our little show, which we know they all listen to, just remind them every now and then, hey, this is what the show is all about. And even though we are going into 50 plus some odd years and we're going to go through some changes, hello, 13th Doctor, that things still need to hold true to the values that the day William Hartnell walked into the TARDIS and kidnapped those teachers.
Yeah.
We've got to remember where it started and where it came from. And for people like Russell T Davies, who said, they had the chance to reboot it, start all over, and make Christopher Eccleston one, but no, they decided they were going to encompass everything that was wonderful and beautiful about this story. In its 26-year run, you're going to make mistakes. Anybody is. But I still believe that Doctor Who is one of the best science fiction series out there. And how many people can say that your TV show has run the length of about 50 some odd years and is back on TV?
All right, well said. All right, guys, don't forget, go to markwho42.net and join the Whoniverse Army. Go to our Facebook page, markwho42. Our Twitter, tweet, at markwho42. Go to
bird now.
It is a bird. I don't know why, but it is a
bird.
Mark
Baumgarten.
Yeah, bird garden. Go to our Tumblr. What else we got? We got Path. We got Google Plus. We got we're everywhere. Go listen to our show on Krypton Radio. If you're doing so, thank you. If you haven't done so, you should. We're on 4 times a week there. You can also listen to our podcast, in many places, including iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn. It's on iTunes. It's on Google Play. Get our app. Download our app. It's a great thing. Until next time, have TARDIS will travel. We will be taking a skip week next week. On Krypton Radio, you'll hear a repeat of one of our great episodes. And for our podcast listeners, be back in 2 weeks because we've got a show for you. Until next time, bye everyone. Mark Who 42 is written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Christian Basil, Patty Hawkins, Iggy Matthews, and Zion Quiros. This episode was edited, directed, and produced by Mark Baumgarten and co-produced by Christian Basil. Visit markwho42.net where you can register and become part of the Hooniverse Army. We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42, subject line, ? If you'd like a chance to be a guest on our radio show, send an email to our Media Relations Director, Christian Basil, at markwho42media@yahoo.com. You can have Mark Who 42 entertain at your next event or convention. Go to heroesonhand.com/markwho42. Space Coast Comics is a free monthly magazine found in over 120 locations currently throughout Brevard County, parts of Osceola, Volusia, and Indian River County in Florida, and available in Chicago. Follow them on Facebook to learn more. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This show is owned and copyrighted by Mark Who 42 Enterprises, LLC, 2017. This is Krypton Radio.